Hello everyone, Wednesday, December 13th, 2017. Of course, today was New Comic Book Day, which means right now is new comic book video time. Now, in the last few videos, I have been showing older books that I've picked up for the last week. Now, even though I picked up a couple of books in the last few days, nothing really big, but I did get a comment from a viewer as it relates to my distaste for grading. So he sent me a comment and I thought I would answer that comment. So I guess we're going to have a little bit of a CGC rant after I show the books. So I know how much people love that. Jumping right into the books. Jughead the Hunger #2. The best of the two covers was this one here. And we had discussed this, or I had mentioned this in some past videos, that Afterlife with Archie was a storyline that I really enjoyed. But what hurt that storyline was the amount of time between issues. Jughead the Hunger is kind of going down that road, so I hope the publishers understand that and they kind of speed it up a little bit, because it is a good story and I'd like to see it continue for a longer time. So the hot book that came out today, or the big book that came out today, Amazing Spider-Man 792, part of the Venom Inc. storyline, part 2, and there was a new character introduced. So if you haven't got it, get it. Really cool cover there with Venom. Right there, anti-Venom, and some Spider-Man action. So, new character, whenever you get a new character, people jump all over that, especially with an iconic book like The Amazing Spider-Man. This was what they called the Phoenix variant of the same book. It was the same price, so I grabbed one of them. They didn't have a lot of these, so I was lucky to get one. Kind of a cool cover right there. You can see it. Detective 970. Number 1000 is coming up fairly quick. Can't wait for that. And please do a good book for 1000, not like the other ones you bombed on with the other storylines. Wonder Woman 36. Bondage, kind of a bondage cover right there. Kind of cool that she was known. There was a time frame where they did a lot of bondage covers with her. And there, Robert Kirkman does a thing on A&E, where they were, was it AMC, excuse me, AMC after The Walking Dead, where they were doing the history of comic books, and a really good story about her history and how that came about with the publishers. So if you have a chance to see that, see if you can find that one. Really good. A book I had been enjoying, Action Lab. This was Misbegotten #4. This story wasn't that great on this issue, but I'm going to continue buying it because every storyline is going to have a bad issue once in a while. So let's hope they pick it up for #5. The Despicable Deadpool. This issue, Cable dies. Oh no, there's Cable. I don't think he dies, but I have not had a chance to read this one yet, so we will see. Deadpool versus Old Man Logan #1. I picked another one of these up. And #2. Real cool cover right there of them fighting it out right there. So, again, really small week. But it's December, so usually in December, a lot of books don't come out because I think the publishing companies like Marvel and all them, they'll understand that, you know what, it's Christmas, people aren't going to have a lot of extra money, so let's not make it a real heavy week. So that was pretty much there for that. Now, as it relates to, a viewer watched an older video of mine where I talked about grading and how it was going to kind of go away. And he sent me a message saying, oh, you know, you don't know what you're talking about. Grading's what's saving this industry. And there's always going to be grading companies. Okay, well, let me backtrack a little bit on that. What I said was, yeah, grading's not going to be as strong 3 years from now as it was when it first started. And I kind of, compared it to baseball cards, PSA, BGS, in the late 90s, early 2000s. Where people were just getting everything graded. New cards, old cards, didn't matter. They just wanted to get stuff graded because they wanted to make the fast buck. And now if you go to shows, I still go to card shows once in a while when I'm in town, or when something's, local, or if I travel somewhere and they have a show, I'll take a look at it because I was very heavily involved in the baseball, football, sports hobby card market and did very well in the 80s, all the way up until the early 2000s. There was a time where everybody had graded cards. Now it's very hard to get graded cards. The submissions to PSA and BGS for grading cards has really dropped. There's always going to be people that get that stuff graded, but it's dropping. Comic books are the same, okay? You have the 3 major companies, well, 2 major companies and a minor company, of course, CGC, CBCS, and then the minor company being PGX. And I guarantee you that if you look at submissions 2 years from now to what they are now, there's going to be a cut in submissions, because the bottom line is people are just getting a lot of stuff graded that they don't need to get graded. We've said this 1,000 times, and I say this all the time, and people never seem to listen when I say it, is that if I have a golden age book or you want to get stuff graded, I've never sent anything in to get graded. But if you want to get stuff graded and you have golden age stuff, get it graded. There's no issue with that. You're encapsulating it because you want to preserve it. I'm okay with that. I prefer a raw book. I'm more old school that way, and I'm not looking to make the quick buck. So if I had books and I wanted to get stuff graded, I would get older stuff graded, high keys, things like that. That's okay. It's when you get the new stuff. Someone's going to send in Old Man Logan 1 to get it graded and get a 9.8 because they're going to try to flip it for 40 bucks. That's what hurts the industry. That's what makes it unbalanced. That's why if you go to these shows, how many people have stacks and boxes full of graded books? It's overkill. They're flooding the market with these graded books. You want a 9.8 and something? There's going to be a ton of them out there because everybody's sending them in. So someone had, he made a comment and said, give me one good reason why you don't trust these companies. And I'm going to give you one good reason why I don't trust these companies, because there's no consistency in the companies. There's no consistency in their grading. It's up and down. They can't tell me any better than I can what a book is graded. And those of you who know me, who have come to the places when I had my shop or have had me grade books for them, will attest to that. So I thought I would talk about restored books. It's a purple label that CGC issues for a restored book. And I just happened to see, well, I'll tell the story. I watched a video of a guy doing an unboxing. He sent 30 books in. He said, I sent 30 books in to get graded. And he opens the box and he's like, I got 20 9.8s, 6 9.6s, 3 9.4s, and a 9.2. And he's like, and I'm so upset. I got to crack these 9.6s and I'm going to send them back and get the 9.8. And this was all more recent stuff. He didn't send anything old in. It was all recent stuff that I don't know why you would spend the money to do that. But he made a comment in the video and I thought, you know what? I've heard this more, and it brought up a good point. He said, before I ever send anything in, I press the book and I dry clean it and I fix it to make it look really, really nice, and then I send it in. And he had all blue label books, all books that were just blue labels, and he basically stated, I press them and I dry clean the system. I use the dry cleaning system to clean the pages and clean the covers and the back covers to give up that pop. Okay, and here comes the inconsistency part. I am currently looking at a book, CGC, restored grade, on a Batman #1 from 1940. Of course, you can't say anything more, Batman #1. Apparent 9.2, because it has, are you ready for the restoration? Restoration, it says this right on the label. Restoration includes color touch, pieces added, tear seals, interior lightened, reinforced, reglossed, and here's the big one, cover cleaned. There it is, cover cleaned. 9.2. Purple label. Restored book. Okay. So if you're going to give that a restored book for all of the stuff and include cleaning in that restored section, everybody who sends books in who's getting them pressed and clean has restored their book and should be getting purple labels. You have it right there. I went on eBay, I looked at a bunch of purple labels, and a good majority of them say cover cleaned. But yet people are sending books in that they get cleaned and pressed that come back blue label because it's not being hit as a restored book. Again, consistency. I want consistency. I've talked to you guys about this before. I use the same bags, so I have consistency in my collection, the same type of Mylar. I do the same thing. The grading companies are not giving me consistency. I don't see consistency. I have never seen consistency in all the years I've been doing these videos and all the years I've been monitoring the grading companies. I'm not out here bashing grading companies. That's not what this is about. This is about people not understanding that there's no consistency. They're charging a fee to grade books when they're no better than anybody else. They just happen to put it in a label and say, hey, look, we're the experts because we're CGC. give us a lot of money and we'll tell you what your book is worth. I can tell you what your book is worth. I can also tell you that you're not consistent because one guy sends a book in to get cleaned and pressed and you give him a blue label. Another guy sends it in. It says color touch up. You give him, or excuse me, cover cleaned, and you give him a purple label. Where's the consistency in that? You're either going to do that or you're not going to do it. You know, we've talked about other grading aspects. Detached staples, you know, the big majority of what the grading books say it should be, what CGC says the way they do it, and what they're giving are two different things. There is no consistency there. You don't believe me? The information's right there. Take a look at it. It's there for you to look at. Type it in. Restore, CGC restored. And you can look at these labels and say cleaned. I have a friend who does cleaning and pressing and is very good at it. And he has a big business. But you know what? If CGC is saying that some books that get the cover clean should be restored, they should all be restored. You press it, you clean it, you've taken away, that is no longer a raw book, that is a restored book. It's a refurbished book. It should be shown that way on the grading labels. Consistency. I hope that answered your question why I don't trust the grading companies. I can give you a lot more reasons. I do it all the time. Look at the other videos. I always talk about something, everybody says, oh, you're just a hater. I'm not a hater. I'm just giving you the truth. I'm telling you exactly what it is. It's either restored or it's not restored. It's not, you know, it's not a 50-50 proposition here. Consistency. Because a purple label and a blue label are two separate things. The guy happens to be selling this purple label Batman for $75,000 on the 9.2 with the restoration. A 9.2 on a non-restored Batman? Come on. High six figures. We know that. Okay, we know that. So that's why I don't trust it. So there it is. Kind of a little rant. I'm kind of all over on that. So again, I know people like the rants. I don't do it just to be an ass. I'm not trying to be a dick about this, but you know what? It's going to hurt the industry, and it has been hurting the industry. And you don't believe me, walk around these shows and look at the 10,000 graded books of, you know, new crap that's being graded 9.8s, and people get pissed off now, you know, when they get a 9.6 on something. So that's why I don't like grading. There's no consistency in it. So there's the 9.2. There's the restored grade rant I gave you. I hope you liked it. Again, that's all over. I know I'm going to get some, you know, people are going to send me a bunch of hate mail because they love their CGCs and their grading, and that's okay. Bring it on. So I hope you liked the video, but if you didn't, nothing I can do for you. Have a great night. Thank you for the support, and I'll see you next week.